Facebook and also on YouTube. Hopefully you are seeing me, hopefully. So we do have a new release today, which is quite exciting. So this is our October release, and we have named it the Cozy Creatures release because we do have some really cool creatures in there, as well as some fabulous florals like usual. So hopefully we are live on both of our accounts now, and I can see that there are people there, and the lovely Aurum will be behind the badge today. So if you do share this live stream, you are in with a chance of winning a $15 gift certificate to the Altenew store. So without further ado, I am going to move you guys down to my tabletop so we can then see this fabulous release. Okay, so we are down here now. Hopefully we are all good. So I'm going to start with our new 6x8 sets. So I'm just going to move these in, try and move things over to the side. We know that it can get a bit messy on my tabletop when we do these release lives. So first up we have the Sweet Flowers. So this is a layering set, and we have a beautiful outline of 3 different florals as well as the images to go in there. So these are all separate, so all of these flowers can be different colours if you wish, or you can keep them the same colours. So if I turn this around, you can see that we do have the layering guide on there, as well as tons of inspiration in the trifold. As well as the stamp set, we do have the matching die set available as well, which will cut out that floral image as well as this little floral cluster too. So there is that one. We then have the Simple Roses. So in this one we have 3 large beautiful roses, a bud, some leaves, and some really beautiful scripted sentiments in here. So again, as usual, we do have a little inspiration on the back when we do have an outline floral, and then some inspiration in there as well. As well as the stamp set, we have the matching die set available, which is going to cut out all of the images from the stamp set. And we also have the mask stencil too, so this is really going to save time when masking off your images. Next up we have the Hello Hydrangea, and in this one we have a really beautiful large floral hydrangea, as well as a little singular image which will match up with this one here, and some leaves and little berries too. The sentiments in this set are fabulous. They're all kind of different fonts, different looks. We even have some ones that will go down your page. So that one is the Hello Hydrangea. As usual, we do have the matching die set too. Okay, I will be using that one later on, so I'll move that to the side. Then we have the Birch Forest. Now this is a really beautiful background stamp, so this is a really large one. I'm just going to grab my ruler. You can see it's just over, it's around 5.5 that way, and it's 5.5 that way. So we have a square background here. And then we have some really great sentiments that are really uplifting. So go where you feel most alive, and success is a series of small wins. So that's a great one, and we'll be using that one too. Then we have the Friends Forever stamp set. You can see we have like a coffee cup here, 2 straws that you can place in here, one facing one way, one facing the other, some little hearts. These little, they remind me of little sweets. We have little sweethearts, and then some really great sentiments. These are really, really good for a friend that you maybe haven't seen in a while and you did want to send a card to. We do have the matching die set available too for this stamp set. Okay. We have one very cute 4x3 in this set, and I've just dropped one of the dies. So this is Chipmunk and Squirrel. You can see that we have 2 squirrels, 2 chipmunks, some really cool nature elements, as well as some punny sentiments in there. As well as the stamp set, we have the matching die set available as well. which is going to cut out all of those images so you can create really dimensional scenes with that one. Okay, move that over to that side. Then we have a very, very cute 2x3. So this is Warm Heart, and you can see that we have 2 emperor penguins there. I do have a card to showcase this one even, and I've used some embossing paste at the bottom of here, just kind of lathered it on to the bottom to create this kind of snowy look that you can see there. So if you did want another idea to use your embossing paste, that might be one to try. Now we have a die set. So this is the Festive Clusters die set, and you can see that we have some really beautiful, delicate florals on here. So we have 2 different ones. They're quite sizable dies, and we will do something with this, inspired by the lovely Jenny, who is on our blog hop today. So that one is the Festive Clusters. I already have them cut out. Now we have a baby shower simple colouring stencil. So if you have the baby shower stamp set, which is this one here, you can now quickly and easily add colour into all of these various areas using this and a blending tool. Okay. We also have some new blending tools. So these are our smalls. So if you love our large blending tool but wanted a smaller size, we now have them. So they're bright white bristles, really cool little handle with our little alternate on the top. But I will be using those today, and they are really, really cool. They don't add too much ink down, so you can really build up the ink colours, but it's really difficult to add too much at once. Okay, so we have a new decal set in this release. You can see that I have used some of mine, but these are for the tops of your markers. So if you do have the alternate artist markers and did want to easily see which is the brush or the bullet, this might be a decal that is interesting to you. So you can see that we have all the colours that we have in the markers at the moment. And I'll just grab one of mine out. I didn't add all of my little sets on so I could show you. And I'm just gonna grab one of these. So this one here is the Puffy Heart. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna decide which is your top. Now we do have the markers and also the words. So you can choose whether you want to use these ones or these ones, but if you do use these ones on your tops, I'm going to show you another idea to use these as well. So I'm just going to grab my bullet, because this is this side. I'm just going to add that directly on top, and it fits perfectly onto the top of your marker. So you can see that that's the bullet nib quickly and easily. Then add the other one. There we go, and there we have the little puffy heart on that side. Now, if you have your pen down and you wanted to easily see the colour, you can then take the spares and add that to your barrel, which I'm doing with my markers. And then we also have an extra one, and I thought it might be a good idea to add this to your storage container. So I already have one on there, which is the rose quartz, and then I can add my little puffy heart right next to it, so I can easily see which colours are in the pot too. So those are our really cool decals, and I will be adding the rest of those to my markers now that I can, because I wanted to make sure that there was actually some still on the sheet when I did my live. So, do you have any favourites in the release? I am going to start off with the Sweet Flowers, because I just wanted to show you how easily this one did layer up. So I'm going to take my large image. I always find it easier to stamp the outline first. And I'm going to take a panel of white cardstock. Okay. I'm going to go with my obsidian, but whichever black ink that you have and that works best for you, go with that one. And I'm just going to stamp that down. Okay. There we go. You can see how well that is stamped. Just move that over and put it away, because otherwise I'm going to get in a huge mess. And if you can see, oops, that we do have A, B and C on the flowers, and they're going to coordinate with the stamp layers. So you have A1 and A2 and B1 and B2 and so forth. I am going to go with some nice yellowy colours today. So I'm going to go with pumpkin pie and yellow ochre. So pumpkin pie is going to be my base layer of the flowers. I could have gone, actually I might go darker with the second layer. I should really clean these up. Take a look. I will from now on. Let's go with B1. So please let us know your faves. We like to know which ones you're loving and which style that you like. And then C1. Oh, I've done C1. A1 I need. I'm going to go a tad darker with my second layer. I was going to go with the yellow ochre, but I'm going to go with the Sicilian amber. Seems very weird at the minute because we're streaming to both YouTube and Facebook, so I can't actually see any of the comments at the minute, so I'll try and take a look in a sec. So that was the Sicilian amber. The flower that I did, that I'm going to show you in a sec, did actually use the lighter shades, so butternut and the yellow ochre. And then one more. This looks very autumny, or autumnal maybe is the better word. Okie dokie. Okay, Sue, I will see if I can use one of those masks. I'll just do a quick one with that because I didn't have that planned, but I can most certainly do that one for you. I am just going to show you how I line up my little branches for this one. So I'll just stamp one of the layers. As you can see, they are pretty wiggly. So to make sure that it's in the right place, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my stamp set over. So this is the side that's got no stamps. And then I can place this over the black markings that are on the carrier sheet. And then pick that up. And that is going to be in the perfect position when I do stamp this. I'm going to go with olive, my favorite green. There we go. And you can see that's stamped pretty fine in there. Yeah, Grace, those little animals are so adorable. So I have cut this one out with the coordinating die, and I could actually layer this up with the other flowers to give more depth and dimension. Maybe if I move it down a little bit more, you can see that there's looks as though there's lots of flowers maybe blowing in the wind that way. So that is the sweet flowers. Let's try and move that out of the way. Let's get on to the onto Sue's request. Okay, move that over. Okay, so we'll just do the mask, just show you how quick and easy it is to mask with the mask stencils before we move on to anything else. So this is the Simple Roses. Now, what I'm going to do is, because if I was to have a arrangement, I would probably want the smaller flower in the front. So that would be the first one that I would work with. Okay. So I'm going to grab another panel, put this down. I'm just going to go with obsidian, although it's not the greatest to use for colouring, but let's just go with it. Maybe we'll heat set it a little bit. So I'm just going to place that down. Okay, so I've stamped. Okay. And then what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to get the coordinating mask. I'm going to want that piece as well. So I'm going to get one of these coordinating masks out. Sorry for all the crinkliness. So is it this one? Yes. So once I have the right one, I'm just going to take a tiny bit of glue tape. I use the Altenew one because if you take some of that stick off, it's kind of the perfect amount of stick. So once I have that one down, I can then remove this one and add in the larger flower behind. So that mask fits perfectly over that stamped image. I can stamp my other flower behind it. And even though we're stamping over that mask, that is going to catch the ink. Okay, so it's caught the ink there. I just want to get rid of some of that ink off that mask. Okay, there we go. Now, I would wait until this is dry normally, but because we're doing a live, the obsidian does take a little bit longer to dry, so it may bleed a little bit. So I'm just going to place that into place. You can add some tape if you want to, but because I'm just trying to be quite quick so we can get through a lot, I'm going to use some pink pearl. And I've kept this mask in place. I have this stencil over. I'm just using my mini blending tool. I do find that these are easier for smaller images when you do want to be a little bit more controlled with your ink blending. So we have that down. We can remove that stencil and then, oops, remove the mask. And you can see that that is perfectly masked. And that stencil is, the stencil was used to colour it. So what we can do then is take the other flower. Nope, not that one. That one. Maybe we go for a different colour with this one. I want a yellow blending tool. And let's go with the pumpkin pie. And just quickly add some colour into that as well. Sorry, I'm just trying to see the comments, just need to move some things over there. Okay, so there we go, quickly and easily. And then you can do the same with the leaves. So you would mask this one and this one over the top and then add the leaves in around, and it's really easy to do. So thank you everyone for joining us. It's really nice to know that you guys are there. I'm going to move on to the birch forest. Okay, and we're going to do it a little bit of embossing. Now, if you don't have a Misty or a really large block, this can sometimes put people off buying this stamp, but please don't. You can use it without having a Misty. So I'm just gonna put my little thing there, my little stamp. Okay, I have another panel and I'm gonna use some, oops, anti-static powder. I use baby powder, it smells really, really nice. Okay, so there we go. So I've added some baby powder on, and another good thing about baby powder is you can add it to your hands as well. Because if you're anything like me, I get mucky fingerprints everywhere, and then my embossing powder sticks to it. So I'm using some embossing ink. So this is clear ink, which is really sticky, kind of tacky, and that's what it's going to do, is it's actually going to kind of capture the embossing powder so you can heat set it. Once it's heat set, it's going to be permanent onto your card. So I'm just going to pop that down, and then I'm going to use the back of my ink pad just to squidge that down, because you kind of want it nice and flat. Alright, so hopefully I've given that enough pressure. So I'm going to remove that now. Oops, I did have some scratch paper, but it seems to have disappeared. Okay, I got an idea. We've got a trifold. You know, that can catch embossing powder, and it's going to give it a great funnel too. So I am going to use some white over that. Turn it. Okay, I didn't quite put enough pressure down here. But never mind. Get rid of that. So if you have your trifold, you've also got a little funnel for your embossing powder too. Okay. So, I'm a little upset that I didn't get the bottom part, but we can pop a sentiment over there. I'm going to start from the back, and once it starts to melt, I can then bring it to the front. Now, even though I've missed a huge part of this, I think a sentiment will fit perfectly there, so I'm not going to worry too much and get upset about it. Okay. Yeah, I can always cut it down as well, but sometimes we make mistakes, but we should be okay. So I did get some inks out to ink blend this little scene. So you can't see it just yet, but we will get there. So I'm going to try with some pink pearl first. Hopefully this is dry enough. As you can see, this really does add soft colour. So it may take a little go to get a really dark colour if that's what you wanted, but it's also great if you have just started ink blending as well, because sometimes you can add your brush to the paper and it kind of just grabs it straight away, and that's not really what you want. You want to be able to move this ink around a little. So I'm getting my pink pearl down. You can also add this straight onto yeah, thank you, Karen. Yeah, if I didn't have that unstamped piece, I wouldn't have been able to hold it. And that's true. Okay, so there's my pink pearl. I'm then going to go into a pink. So I've got cotton candy. This is slightly darker, I would say. And because these tones are quite close, I'm using the same blending tool without washing it off. I think maybe I should have grabbed the bigger blending tool for this one, because I can always use a smaller one for another card that I have planned today. And we're going to keep this pretty soft, because I think if I wanted to get to the colour that I wanted, we may be here a bit longer. Okay, so there's the cotton candy, and then what I've got to go into some deep iris. And you can see that all these colours are blending in really, really well with each other, even though they're not like the same colours or from the same colour families. I might go back into the pink there, I think, just to bring those two colours together a little bit more. And then last but not least, on that top, I'm going to go with Desert Night. I want a blue one for that. I'm just going to flip. Oh, I did want more of a navy colour, but never mind. Okay. So I think those colours do work well together. It's given me a kind of a magical kind of colour tone there. I am going to add a little bit of splatter. Just going to grab my favourite, which is at the moment is the iridescent. It's going to bring those colours together a bit more. Oops. And if you wanted to, you could add some white splatter as well to keep it nice and soft. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to dry a little minute. We can trim it down if we wanted to. We do have some really great sentiments, and I'm trying to think of one that's going to kind of fit in that spot that we have. You know, we kind of went a little bit wrong, but that also means that it's nice and flat, so I can stamp onto it. If you wanted to make sure that your sentiment is perfect, I would maybe try a Misty, because if you need to stamp over it again, I'm hoping that I don't need to. I know, I think we're quite good there. So even though we made that mistake with the embossing ink kind of not sticking in this section, it also gave me a spot to stamp in, so I can't be mad about that. Okay, so there was the Birch Forest. Okay, so with the Hydrangea stamp set, you don't necessarily just need to think of it as this large image. You can definitely create a cute little card with these smaller images up here. So I do have some already coloured in, but I will just do a quick one here. So I've got, as you can see, I have the top on at this marker, so that means that I can easily see which one is the brush nib and which one is the bullet nib. Really, really handy, because I always take the wrong nib, the wrong lid off of the markers. Okay, so there we go. That would be a really quick and easy look there, but I am gonna chop these ones out. So I have the dies. I should have coloured another leaf. That probably would have been more helpful to what I'm doing, but sometimes my brain doesn't work completely. So I'm just going to pop that down. With the dies, you just place them around the image. I'm going to add a little bit of tape. I find using the tape really helps because it means that that little die can't move around when it is cutting. Yeah, there is a lot to love in this, and it's so, yeah, definitely happy accidents all the time. Yeah, but Kathleen, yep, there are so many cute things in this release. So we have those chipmunk and squirrel, which I will be using. I can't not use those adorable little creatures. They are my daughter's favourite set. I think ever, because she does love some critters. Okay. So what would have been helpful is to have another leaf, so I didn't have an even number, but I'm just gonna go with what I have. Grab myself another panel. Okay, and the sentiments in here are lovely. Nancy, there are already t-shirts with that, but it's Bob Ross. We love a little bit of Bob Ross in my house. Okay, so I'm gonna go with this thanks because I think it's very, very cute. Nice bold sentiment. It's a little bit different having it in this like rectangular shape. Stamp it off to the side. Oops, I didn't stamp it that well. But it's just give it a vintage look, right? That's what we're gonna go with. So then we can kind of frame our little sentiment with these very cute florals. I should have maybe moved it up a little bit more, but then I would add 2 leaves to one side and 1 to the other. So if I had another leaf, I would definitely add it around here, and then that would be a very cute little thank you card there. Oh, Teresa, I can't wait to see what you got. What did you get? Okay, so I'm going to go with the chipmunk and squirrel. So I already have my water off to the side, so we can do a bit of watercolouring. And I'm going to go with this very cheeky squirrel that has a donut, because I think he's very cute. And what I've done is I used the die to create a mask for him using some masking paper. Just going to grab some watercolour cardstock and then I'm going to stamp him into place, maybe around here, because I want him sitting on that log or tree trunk that we have. Obsidian is my go-to ink when working with watercolour as well. Look how cute he is. He just makes me smile, and especially the sentiments in here, they're really quite fun. So before I stamp this little trunk down, I'm going to take that mask that I already have. Oops. Remove the backing, place that on top. So this means when I stamp over, that masking paper is going to catch any of the ink that would go on him. There we go. So once we have that on, we have some little pieces of rocks and shrubs, maybe. I place them in to give me more of a natural look. Remove the mask. Oops, I don't want to rip it so I can use it again. And you can see that we have him sat quite happily on the little tree with his donut. Okay, just gonna grab some watercolors and some water. And when I'm watercoloring, I always have like a little cloth or something, just in case I have too much water or colour on my brush, either or. And my brush. So I'm just gonna colour him in a browny colour. Oh, we have this bit of orange here. Maybe he's a red squirrel. He might be a red squirrel. So I'm going to add that colour down first, just give it a base. So this is going to be a really loose watercolour. I mean, you can spend a lot more time on your watercolour and you're going to get a better effect than what I'm doing here. So I'm going to let his base get nice and dry before I work back into that. Let's move on to adding a bit of floor. Kind of want it a touch more greeny, maybe. There we go. Maybe I should have gone with a bit more scenery around there. We have some rocks. Rocks are a greyish browny colour. So add them in. Like I said, you can definitely spend way more time on this. That tree trunk can be a darker brown. Oops. Don't worry, we can definitely move this colour around, just adding a little bit more water into there. You are going to want to add a touch more colour around where he's sat to give more of a shadow. Okay, I think his base might be dry enough to add some more colour in. So we want to add more colour around where it's going to be the darkest. Around where the little donut is. Where things overlap, so underneath his arms, around his chin. Oops. You can take some of that colour out if you want. A bit more water. These kind of remind me of storybooks. The little characters that you get in storybooks. Oops. Tell you where I forgot to colour. The inside of his donut, that will definitely have his colour in there. Ears, maybe a touch of pink in there. Ooh, I went a bit too dark with that, but I can pull that out, so don't worry. Adding grass is easy, so you're just going to grab some green. Just kind of flick. You can even add grass where it's not shown. Let's colour his little donut in. Hopefully we're dry enough around there. Nice pink icing on the top. And there we go. That's a really quick way to colour him in. Yes, Barbara, that was watercolour cardstock that I stamped onto. Sorry if I didn't mention that, but when you are using watercolours, you will always use a watercolour cardstock, because normal cardstock will just kind of bubble up. Hi, Samara. Yay, so there is the little cute squirrel, and he is my favourite from the set. So, okay, so I'm going to move that one over. Okay, so we have one more little thing to share. Now, the lovely Jenny, who is a guest designer on the blog hop today, shown the festive clusters with some ink blending on top, and I wanted to show you how I would go about getting the ink blending effect that she got. So I'm going to use the same colours that I used for our birch forest. Okay, and what I would do is I would die cut, but I would try and keep it in my cardstock, because if you take it out of the cardstock, all of these pieces are going to be quite flimsy and quite bendy, and that's not what I want. So if you keep it in the cardstock, it's going to kind of hold it a little bit better than if you took it out. So I have my pink pearl ink. I'm kind of just going a little bit random. I know that the lovely Jenny kind of coloured these in green, but I'm just going to go with the colours that I've got. Okay. There's some pink pearl down, so that's the lightest colour that we have. So I always try and start off with my lightest colour and then work up, rather than go with the darkest and then work down. The brush size that I was using is a size 8, a Winsor & Newton size 8. So hopefully that helps. Okay, so I'm going to go with Cotton Candy. So same colours as we had before, and I'm going to go round that pink pearl. And then once I have my pink pearl, I'm going to go into a purple, which is, oops, I was using Deep Iris, I believe. This is a beautiful purple. This is, I think this is one of the first purples we came out with. Still one of my favourite purples. Oops, dropped it. And then last but not least, Desert Night. Kind of cut around the edges of this one. I didn't swap my blender for my blue one, so this one's going to now have to be a purpley blue one and not a pink one anymore. Unless I just clean it off, because you can definitely clean this off really easily just with some soap and water, or you can take the ink off onto a wet baby wipe and you can see that it is taking off the colour really easily that way, and you're just going to let that air dry. There we go. Okay, So once I have finished with my little blending, I can then remove these. Now these are pretty delicate die cuts, but I have to say I'm loving the little colour combo that we have going on here. I don't think this is going to be the last time I grab this colour combo. Okay. So there we go. I'm just going to get this one out and then I'll show it at you against some white. Oops. There are some small pieces in here that I would use a pin to get them out. Okay, so we're near enough out. There are some in there still, but I just wanted to show you against some white the effect that we have with that one. Yep, I'm really liking this color combination that we have going on here. So that is all we have for today. I'm going to move you guys up again because my desk is now pretty messy. So we got through quite a bit. We've done some watercoloring, a lot of blending with our new really cute blending tools, which I am in love with. I love these, and they do come in a little box of 4 as well, so really great, especially if you wanted one for each color of the color family, or you could definitely just clean them off like I do. So again, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining us. We really do hope that you've seen something in this release that has inspired you and makes you want to create something beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you again really soon. Bye bye.